Hey guys,
Hi.
how is everyone today? 31 days of tarot.
Another year has gone by.
Yep.
Wasn't it just March?
Yeah, you think so, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this theory as you get older, because when we were younger, and we were just talking about this the other day, when you're younger, doesn't it seem like everything just like takes forever? I mean, you're just like waiting for a really long time, and then you get older and it's just like, where'd that go?
Yeah.
It just like passes
As
you
a
by
kid,
really
yeah,
fast.
from one birthday to the next, that was like ages. And now it's like, no, I don't want another birthday. It's like,
Oh,
no, not the time.
oh, let me send this out really quick, just to give people a little reminder. I should have been doing that. We were too busy dancing away to the music. We were getting down
Yeah,
like
well, when the
like
music takes over, what can you do?
exactly. All right. Hang on.
So yeah, to everyone who's watching and who hasn't seen us this year, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. All right. Let's see. Let me share this really quick in the group. Sorry, my computer is taking forever, probably because I already have a few open. All right. Let me send this to the group and then we will get started. Sound good? All right. There we go.
Courtney's still dancing.
Are you still dancing, honey? You go, girl. We were just dancing to Brick House. She's a brick house. She's mighty, mighty. Okay. They're gonna probably hit me with a copyright thing. But so we are doing the 31 days of tarot. We're doing the first 7 days today. And the first prompt is a reading, a 2020 reading, and the energy and the major lesson. So Maria, you want to go first, sweetie?
Okay. So I pulled some cards and three fell out, and then I also took the bottom deck energy. So the first one that I got is the Four of Swords, and that one really came true this year because I needed to learn when to take a break because, like, it's really strange. The first half of the year, I only remember what I did at work and nothing else that happened in like my private life.
Wow.
Everything is kind of a blur. And so the second half of the year, I needed to take some rest, especially at work, and know, okay, that's my limit, and I need to just step away for a moment. Then I also got the Hierophant, and yeah, this was also really like I got a lot of guidance this year, um, as like from humans, from spirit, a lot of guidance. I did lots of rituals this year. I really celebrated the full moons, something that I did more than any other year before. And yeah, so a lot of new things, but in a traditional way that I did. I also got the Nine of Cups. So I definitely made a lot of wishes last year, and some of them have already come true. And the bottom was the Devil, and that for me was shadow work. Like I really dug deep into the shadow work with past life readings, looking at family situations and like constellations within the family, and really asking myself, why do I feel a certain way about certain issues? And really looking at myself and, yeah, doing some major shadow work.
Wow. So for me, the energy card that I got, and I just did this right here with Maria like a couple minutes beforehand, is the Two of Cups. And you know what? I do think that that is correct because this year is when I really, really, with my major friends, really, um, it's like I found my soul tribe. which is expanding, but I really started finding those people. You guys, you know who you are. You know who you are. So feeling, complete. I've said it before. You guys complete me. You do. Look at, I mean, it's like together. Look at that.
Yeah.
I love it. And then the major lesson that I got was the Empress, about we are all one, right? And not to look at somebody else's opinions or the way that they choose to look at life or whatever. That's just another aspect of me. And I need to have love and respect for that. And try to understand, try to look at it from a bigger perspective. Hi, Amber.
Did you see what Courtney said?
What?
Whoop, whoop, bitches, I'm in a cool club.
You know you are. And then this is something I don't normally do, but Maria said, okay, look at the card that's on the bottom for like the shadow part of it, right? And I got the Tower. Wasn't that everybody's year? Tower year?
That is pretty much 2020 in one card.
Exactly. But something else to take note for my major lesson, my energy for this year, for 2020, I know the universal energy was a 4, but mine was 3. This year, 2021 is a 5 for me. I'm like one behind everybody or something. I don't know. But that's my universal number. So 3 was my number for 2020. So there you go. That was my energy reading. So the next thing is the top 5 tarot decks of 2020, either ones that you purchased and or released in 2020. So why don't you go ahead and start, sweetie?
Yeah, we can take turns. Okay. One that I got that I was kind of on the fence about at first was the Golden Art Nouveau. I saw it in people's videos and I was like, yeah, it's pretty and everything, but the gold foil, that was really a lot for me. And I was not sure if I wanted to read with that. But what I really like about this deck is, I don't know if you can see that, like the facial expressions and the detail, the coloration, I really love that in this deck because I'm not a huge fan of the classic RWS deck because the one that I have, like the faces and everything are like made up of little dots. And when I look at the card, I can see those dots and it kind of like takes away from the whole card. I'm just focused on some details and I get distracted. But with these illustrations, like this deck is really cool and I like reading with it. So I saw a reading from someone and I just thought, well, I'm going to give it a try, and I didn't regret it. What about you?
I did get that one also in 2020, but I got a lot of decks in 2020. But one of them that I got, well, I don't think we're doing these in order. They're just our top like 5, maybe 6. Is the 78 Tarot Elemental.
Mm-hmm.
This one is so beautiful, but one of the things that I really love about it is I don't love the size. I will say it's a bit big for me. So I don't love that part. However, I love the fact that the art is so different, that every single card was made from a different artist. So I was, when making this, supporting that many people in one tarot deck. I love that. And I like the diversity. You never know what you're going to get, the kind of energy you're going to get when you draw these cards, because they're not this like big cohesive theme. They shake things up and you're getting all kinds of energy. And that's just the way that I am. My mind is just like chaos. So I relate really good with this one. So that was one of them for me.
Yeah. One that I gifted myself for my birthday was the Haunted House Tarot. And this is probably my workhorse because I just love these images. They're not really traditional. Like, for example, here, the Two of Wands has a Ouija board. I love that. And there's so many full moons in here. And just yeah, the illustrations, like the Two of Cups, I love that. The Woman and the Angel. Like this deck is so beautiful. At first, I was also not sure if I wanted to get it, but then I saw a video by what's it called? Owl Moon 513, I think is the channel name. And she explained how she uses this deck, and then I was like, oh, that makes sense. I can use it the same way. And I got it, and ever since I started using it in September, I can't put it away. Like, I love this deck. This is definitely one of my top 5 favorite decks ever.
It is gorgeous. Seriously gorgeous. Another one that I got in 2020 that I absolutely love is the Bone, Stone, and Earth Flesh. And this is actually the one that I'm using with my junk journal. So because, and this is my card for this month out of that, which is Temperance. So nice. Temperance is my January card. But I mean, look at how gorgeous that is.
Yeah.
I mean, these are so stunning. And even the book, I mean, the book is so good. I love what Evelyn did with the different stories for each card and who it's like signifying. She'd like put a person to every single one of them instead of just a scenario. It was just, it's like really good. So yeah, I will say, and I think it's probably my own fault. One of the things that I don't like about this deck is it's already rubbing off the gilding. But I think it's because I put lotion on my hands all the time, and I could not keep my grubby paws off of this when I first got it. And I think you're supposed to let it sit for a little while. And of course, I'd have, you know, lotion on my hands and that. But I'm not mad because eventually when this wears off, then I'll do something different because I'm not a huge fan of red anyway. So, but I love this deck so much. It's beautiful. So, yeah.
So a deck that I got for Christmas is the, what's it called? Life is Like a Board Game Tarot, or the Monopoly Tarot. And this one is really fun. I've been using this in my year ahead reading as like the clarifier deck, and I love it. It's so simple. It has like really like the Nine of Pentacles, Independence Avenue. I mean, everyone can find what these cards mean really easily. And I got this deck specifically because I was thinking maybe if I want to come out of the tarot closet to my colleagues and we have like a Christmas party, if that should ever be a thing again, I don't know, then maybe I could take this with me. And, you know, this is like a very non-witchy woo-woo kind of thing. And like for a party, and telling people, you know what, I read tarot. Do you want a reading? Do you want to try this out? And then showing people that this is nothing to be scared of. So exactly. That's why I got this deck. And I have to say, I love it. At first, I was not a fan of the cardstock because it was kind of like when I was riffle shuffling, the cards kind of got stuck. But if I do it slowly, then it's okay.
So Courtney said, I just did a reading with my boys and clearly found their Viking life and how they died in battle. It was amazing. Loved it. Oh my gosh, that is excellent. You know, I definitely want to hear more about that. Yours is rubbing off too, and you don't have lotion. Okay, so it wasn't just me then. But like I said, I'm not mad about it. That's not why I got it for the gilding. I'm not huge on the metal gilding anyways. So if it rubs off, and I think that there's a way that you can actually take the rest of the gilding off, I think. Like sandpaper or something. I don't know. I'm not going to just try it, but, you know, because I don't, without researching it. So another deck that I got that I absolutely love in 2020 is the Destiny deck by Lisa Santini, or Santine. I don't know why I always do that. These cards are stunning. This is the kind of gilding I love. It's like a matte gilding. But, and these are the backs. She was on Kickstarter. This was a Kickstarter deck. I love this deck so much because in 2020, I have really embraced learning more about astrology. And astrology symbols are on every single one of these cards, which I friggin' adore. And they are just the most, the card stock is beautiful. I mean, look at this one, Ace of Pentacles. Look at that. Is that not friggin' amazing?
They're pretty.
So pretty. So right up my alley. So yes, that's another one for me.
Yeah. So another one that I got, and I discovered this pretty late in the year, is the Hermit Tarot. And I've been using this in like my life readings. And this is not just a typical tarot deck. It has 100 cards. It's quite big, and it's like tarot and oracle a little bit mixed in one. And Lorraine, the creator of this deck, she also has a channel called the Hermit Tarot. And at first she was using this, like she only had index cards, and then she had this made. And I love how she reads with it. She does pick a card readings. And I love the messages that she can get from these cards. And she turned pretty much every tarot card into like a word message. And then she added some other stuff in here as well. And I love working with this deck. And I didn't do like an interview with this deck when I got it to see if it's really accurate. I kind of reverse engineered a reading, and I told this deck, you know what? Pretend I'm talking to person XYZ and tell me what I would say to that person. And then I pulled some cards and I was accurate. It's exactly what I would have said to that person. And so that's how I know that this one works.
That is excellent. And you know what? When I started doing readings with you and seeing you work with that, I'm like, oh, I have to get this deck. And you introduced me to her YouTube channel. And yes, just like Ponus is saying, he follows the YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
The Hermit Tarot YouTuber.
The Hermit Tarot. She is awesome.
Great readings. Yes, she does. She does a lot of like the pick a cards.
Yeah, but the way that she does it and what she can see in the cards and everything, I love that.
Yes, 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 yes. So another one that I got in 2020, another Maria made me do it. I must have at least 10 or 15 decks. Exactly. Just shake it up.
Hi, my name is Maria and I'm an enabler.
Maria made me do it. But it is actually, honestly, something that I have been looking at for a long time. I also watched Jennifer Pearson's on her channel. She was doing a lot of these like spreads and stuff. And this is the Art History Tarot for Past Life. And it's just excellent. I love that it comes with the workbook. And
yeah, this is boxed.
Yes. And yeah, I don't keep it in with the box. And then the workbook. I love it so much. I have a different notebook that I use it because I don't put the stuff in there. Because you can, I honestly believe that we've had hundreds, if not thousands of lifetimes, if you really think about it. How long have people been incarnating on Earth alone? And then don't even think about all the other lives that we might have had on other planets, right? We are eternal souls. So once you go through and get really, really deep with one particular life, then you start over on a different life. It's just like a never-ending process of deep, deep diving. So yeah, that was another one I got in 2020.
And time is just a human concept.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what was it? Oh, that's number 5 already. So the last one that I got this year, this has already been out for quite a while, like since early mid-90s. But this year, the artist finally got the copyright to his own artwork back. And so he re-released it. And he also made an English version, which I was looking for, the Röhrig Tarot. And these cards are quite big. And I love that he also did some changes, because there are some cards here that with this deck, it's always talked about like whether it's censored or uncensored. and I can actually show what he changed. So in the old version, you would see these cards. Like the Hanged Man, he was wearing some kind of panties, and so was the Princess of Cups. But now that he has his artwork back, he did it the way that it was always made, because they only did that so that they could reproduce it, like mass market it. And so the Princess of Cups is now originally bottom naked again. And the Hanged Man, like originally you could see his little friend there, but he put a shadow on it so you can't see it, but he's naked again. And also the guy in the Three of Discs, he's also naked again. But yeah, I love this deck. It's a bit hard to shuffle because of the size, but these cards are so good, and it's a different kind of reading that I do with these cards, and it goes really deep. Sometimes the messages, when I get a card that looks kind of scary, I'm like, oh my god, what is this? And then I actually go, because he took a lot of notes on these cards, and when I look at them, like, oh, it's not scary at all. It's like, this is actually a good thing. So yeah, I love working with this. And fun fact, the guy who created this deck, he is a Scientologist. He doesn't believe in using this as divination. He created this to be used as a psychological tool for self-exploration and self-empowerment. So this was never meant to use, like, to foretell the future. This is to really know who you are, to find yourself, and to know what you are all about. And I love that.
Very cool. Yeah, Amber said that you made her buy a deck too. Just saying. So
which one?
Yeah, which one? I would have to say the other. Actually, I have a couple. This one, I actually got this in 2019, I believe, the beginning of 2019, but I never really used it until 2020. And so I'm going to count it. But also the other one that I did get in 2020 is the Thoth. Now I have the other Thoth, but, bigger one, but I trimmed it down. But this one is so much better. I mean, the size is just more perfect, easier for me to shuffle. I love the artwork. I love reading about what each of the cards mean. So, and how it's different, because I am not one for the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, the actual deck. The system I like, don't get me wrong, but I also like learning about different systems and why those systems were put into play. So, because I like figuring out mysteries and secrets, and so Thoth. So there you go. Those are my like 5/ little bit of 6. Too lazy to learn. Some people study one card for 3 months, and that's crazy. Yeah, no. I think they're doing like path working. But yeah, no, I couldn't do that either. Nah. My father is banned from the Church of Scientology. Okay, you're going to have to tell us about that one, honey. I literally read the art and symbols along with messages I get, then put it together. Yeah, the symbols are very cool. Oh, Jennifer Pearson did. I see. Yeah. I do try to read the pictures and follow my intuition, but I'm just lazy. All right. So the next one is the top 5 Oracle decks of 2020. Now, these can be ones that you purchased or released in 2020. So what do you got, sweetie?
I got 4. So the first one is a very small one that I got, and where did I see that first? I think it was on Patsy's channel, or no, but Patsy got it around the same time as I did. So the side cards, and this is, I also have a guidebook, but I have a different one than she has. And like, there's different editions of the guidebook, and these Like they have similar archetypes than tarot, at least some of them. But yeah, they're really, it's only 40 cards and they're really simple, but I get such good readings with these. I always pull 3 cards and I use them mostly to look into current events. Like when I see something on the news and I want to know a little bit more about it, like what's going on behind the scenes, I pull out these cards and they are actually helpful. And sometimes, yeah, I use them also when I want to know something about a certain person. And yeah, to know if they're trustworthy or not. Like these cards are really good. I like them.
So in the chat, they are talking, Amber's talking about, yeah, her dad and the story of that. She said, yeah, the one in Hollywood. So of course, Courtney's like, well, I want to hear about that too, because she's also gone down the Hollywood rabbit hole. I think we all have, haven't we?
Yeah, especially this year, or was it last? I can't even tell time anymore. When did Epstein happen? Was that last year?
This year. I think it was this year.
Well, this year is 21, so that would be 20.
I mean, last year.
So
2020.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Or was it summer 19? I don't know. Like
I don't know. I don't remember. Gosh,
I really don't have any sense of time when it comes to 2020. Like not at all.
Yeah. So one of them, or I'm going to put 2 together for me, for the first one. For Oracle, I actually got this for a Christmas present last year. So I didn't start really using it until 2020. And I got this from my son. And I did end up modding these, you know, cutting the borders off and edging them in the purple. And they're so much better. I mean, easier to handle and all that. But the second one that I wanted to talk about was the Vedic astrology study deck from Julianne Victoria, because Vedic astrology and Western astrology have made a huge impact on my life in 2020. It started really in 2020, and it started with these particular decks. So yeah, I just could not go without mentioning. I look at decks, especially the Oracle decks, like they are flashcards for learning. For me, it's easier for me because the older I get, it's not as easy for me to remember. Flashcards help me to remember stuff. So these 2 decks I'm counting as one, as astrology.
Yeah.
So,
and with cards, like it's also for visual people. It's much easier to remember what's on a card instead of like a line in a book or something. So yeah, I totally get that.
yes.
So one deck that I got, also another small one, is the Inner Compass Oracle by Heather Hopes, Intuitive Art. And this one is a mixed media collage deck. And I don't exactly remember how many. I think it's like 40 cards, but they're really thick. It's almost like not even cardstock. It's like, I really like it. And they are really gorgeous. They all have like one keyword on it. And I just like pulling one every once in a while. And they're just gorgeous. They're so like vibrant. I love the colors, the images, everything. Like this is right up my alley. Even the back is really pretty. So yeah.
I love the size of those.
Yeah. They're really cool. I mean, it took me a while to learn how to shuffle without them flying all over, because with smaller decks, that can be kind of tricky sometimes. But yeah, you get used to it. Like I did that when I cut down my Lo Scarabeo tarot. I cut off all the borders and I really took like 1/3 of the card away. And then the first time I shuffled it, they were like flying all over because I wasn't used to having something so small.
Exactly. She said, I am secretly trying to do astral time travel. Of course you are. I'm having some spirits help doing a video about it soon. That is excellent.
Cool.
And I know that this is something that Amber has been talking about, which is that real sky astrology. That is very interesting. All right, sweetie. Love you, honey. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
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 So another one for me is the Divine Muses. I actually got this from Nancy Texas Rose. Nancy from Nancy Texas Rose channel. She was doing some purging of some of her decks. And so she gave me a really good deal on a couple of decks. And at first I was like, I'm not sure after getting it whether or not I'm going to connect with it if I can get it out of the damn bag. But oh my gosh, this is one of the decks that I'm using every single month now in my junk journaling. And it is friggin' excellent. The messages that are coming through with this particular deck are so friggin' deep.
It looks really cool.
I am in love with this deck. I can't even tell you. The book is friggin' excellent. I'm just all about this deck. So I do have to get another bag for it because this is just so tiny. It's hard to get it out. But hi, Tangie. Hi, honey. So
hi,
that's another one for me.
Yeah. So one that I finally got was the Fallen Angels Oracle, because this one originally came out in 2011. And pretty soon after, it was sold out and out of print. And then people were asking ridiculous prices for the first edition. Like the most expensive one that I saw was 1,770 euros. And that, like, honestly, who pays that much? And so when I got it, 2019, I got a French version for just 36, and I thought, okay, this is as close as I'm ever going to get to the deck, and I'll figure out the language somehow. And then a week after I got the French one, I found out that this was being remade and sold in 2020. So right away I pre-ordered it, and now I have the English one, and I have to say I really love it. It's also a collage deck, and like the Fallen Angels, demons, like this is not a scary deck. This is like statues from graveyards, and there's sometimes mixed with animals. And this is just really, like, it's dark, but it's not scary. It's just really cool. And I love, like,
wondering about that deck.
Walking like over a graveyard and looking at all these old statues. I love that. And this deck is just like, it reminds me so much of my teenage time. I love it. Oops. And
what kind of, I mean, does that have a good story behind each of the cards, the book?
Let's see. So the book is not that thick, but it gives you enough to work with. Like each card has an element, a planet, a message, and then a description and a card model. And I'm using this deck also for shadow work, and I really like it.
Is that one actually supposed to be each card is a different fallen angel?
Mm-hmm. So this is actually the same kind of, like all the fallen angels that you've been covering in your Angels and Demons series, they're in here. They have different numbers, like the order in which they're listed is different. Then some might find it in the Goetia, however you pronounce it. But yeah, it's those 72, like from the Lesser Key of Solomon.
That is excellent. I might have to look into that.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I probably will be looking into that. That's the correct thing to say. So for me, one of them is the Runic Odyssey Oracle. This is another one that I did get off of Kickstarter in 2020. It is by I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong. Hiveya. I absolutely love this deck. It's not great for like pictures and stuff like that, because it is like like that. I've got a line on my camera, but because of it being gold. But I love having a deck that is runes, and I am drawing one of these, and that is how I am learning every month and putting it into my junk journal. Yet again, another thing. And I am finding every month how all my cards are tying in with what I'm experiencing each month. I am loving doing the journaling. So yes, these cards are phenomenal. That's another one for me.
So you have one left, right?
Yep. No, I have 2 left.
2 left. Well, why don't you do the one that we don't have the same, and then we'll do the one that we have the same.
Okay. Okay. So you guys know, and I know this is a controversial deck, okay? But I got this in 2020, and I was watching another friend of ours, Brandy, Hound Dog Hollow, and she was saying how much she loves this deck. And I had not gotten it. I had held off on getting this deck for like a year because of what other people thought about it. And the more and more I thought about it, I thought, you know what? I'm going to get this because I want to learn more about goddesses, period. So I draw one every month. I don't honestly think if you're getting a deck like this to have tons of information on that particular goddess, forget it. It's not good for that. But if you want to draw one and then you go and do more research on a particular goddess, I think it's perfect for that. Or to find out what kind of, just like energy reading or something like that. But I use it in order to do research. So this is one of them that I got that I love. No regrets, period. There's Sully. He says hi.
Oh my God, he's cute.
Are you going to say hi to everybody?
So, should we do it on the count of 3?
Hi, Candy. You got the ball. Just hold off just a little bit, okay? But we love. Yeah, this is the one that I made you get, right?
Yeah, right. So 3, 2, 1. I love this one, and I'm so glad that you showed me this, and I have been using it also in my year ahead readings as like the oracle advice. And yeah, I think those cards are just like, they're amazing. A bit hard to shuffle because they tend to stick together. I don't know about yours, but yes. Yeah, the stuff that I can find in these cards, and yeah, also like sometimes already I have certain cards that come up for certain people like again and again, and I love that.
The thing that I love about these, well, this summer, that end of summer, I was in bed for about 2.5 months because I had the gout in both of my feet, right? Extremely painful. So this was one of the decks, because I got this as a Christmas gift last year at Christmas, and I just never really used it until 2020. So one of the things that I love about this deck so much is the fact that it breaks down into sections, what each thing is for. So first you have, because it's all about like archetypes, right? So first you have the selves. Then you have, which there is like 30 different cards for the selves. Then you have the different places, so different places around the world. And then you have the different tools that you can use. And then you have the initiations. So like these are for like really deep diving, like deep themes in your life or in somebody else's life. And I know that you are now using them in with your regular monthly readings, but you also use them to do a little bit more research on your past lives, didn't you?
No. But I think I can definitely incorporate them, because one thing that I started doing like a lot this year was to not just use one deck for my readings, but to use 2 or 3 decks at the same time and have them do different things. Like I have one main deck that gives me like the main message, then I have the next deck on top of that is the clarifiers, or I do one deck inside perspective, one deck outside perspective, and then some additional advice, or like in the shadow, what am I not seeing? So I love combining multiple decks together.
Exactly. And I can't even get this. No, I'll do that later. Do you think, what do you think are the best tarot to start from? I know Rider-Waite is one of them. Yeah, definitely a Rider-Waite system, but I think more or less what we're saying is it doesn't have to be the exact like Rider-Waite, like this one. This is like the Centennial version. And it is very, very much about, gosh, the actual artwork, right? But a lot of the decks that I have are still Rider-Waite system.
Yeah.
Even like the Light Seers, it's still based off of the Rider-Waite system, but it's not this artwork.
Yeah.
That I'm just not really drawn to. Then yeah, there's Tarot de Marseille. There is
Thoth,
of course. There is like the old Italian tarots.
Busca.
Yeah. What do I think is the best thing to start off with? I would say either Thoth, or I would say pick a system, either Thoth or Rider-Waite Smith. But I think there's definitely a lot more stuff for Rider-Waite with learning than there is with Thoth. What do you think, sweetheart?
There are also decks that combine certain things. For example, this one combines RWS with Thoth and the Heindel tarot. Like all 3 are found in this one. And yeah, the Lo Scarabeo tarot, that's actually called the Lo Scarabeo tarot, has Marseille, RWS, and Thoth mixed together. So yeah, I think for me, I would always go with the one that I find appealing when it comes to the artwork, because I think the images have to speak to you. Otherwise, it's just learning the meanings and then just reciting them like a poem because you've learned them, but you don't really see anything. So I would always go with whatever artwork speaks to you. And I mean, fortunately, we have TarotTube where you can watch countless like walkthroughs and flip throughs. So yeah, just like spend some time, look at some videos, and then see what resonates with you.
I do not just blindly buy a tarot deck anymore, ever.
Yeah.
If I can't see a walkthrough of it somewhere, I just don't buy it. I mean, I rely on walkthroughs before I definitely, that's like one of my things that I go through.
Yeah.
One of my friends said that the original creator can cut off the readings from his or her created deck like no one would ever be able to read from it. What do you think? Is this true? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. I would say that a creator of their own deck would probably be able to read their own perception better of what their deck was meant to mean. But I think that's the beautiful thing of a tarot reader. We're all different. It comes from your own perception. So it's a matter of what you jive with a tarot reader, you know, whether they're intuitive or not. I think a tarot reader can be great if they're using traditional meanings, their own meanings, intuition, or a whole mixture of all of them. What do you think, sweetie?
If you have 2 readers use the exact same deck for the exact same question, they will come up with a different way of interpreting the cards. Now, the message can still be the same, but the way that they deliver it and what details they see, that will be different.
Exactly. I think so too. That was my first deck that I encountered when I was 7, the Aquarian Tarot. That's one I don't have.
I have the new Palladini, which is from the same creator, but I'm not really using it. I'm actually thinking of maybe getting that one out of my collection at some point. I don't know.
Yeah. I have actually purged, probably not purged. I mean, I haven't thrown them away. I've given them to other people this year, probably over 20 decks this year that I have gifted. All right. So the next one is the top 5 tarot books of 2020, ones that you purchased and or released in 2020. What about you, honey?
Yeah, I only have 3. So one deck that I saw on last year's, I just wanted to say 78 Days of Tarot. Yeah, sure. 31 Days of Tarot was on Amy's channel from Strength Reversed. And in the same category, she introduced this book, The Smart Girl's Guide to Tarot. Unfortunately, this is an out-of-print book. And I was lucky to find like a secondhand version on Amazon for only a little bit more than the original price, like twice as much. And I love the cheekiness of this book because it describes, let me find an example. She also read one from the book, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, let me see. I just had, okay, for example, the 4 of Cups. You're used up, exhausted, and just plain disgusted with everyone around you. This isn't just a hangover. This is, what am I doing with my life? Maybe you've been partying too hard. Maybe work has been insane. Whichever, you've been on the narcissism trail. And just how did you get so far down the wrong path? Yeah, it looked great at the time, but face it, right now your life has all the richness and appeal of burnt earth and stuff like that. So I just love this. And one deck that I immediately thought of that this would really go well with is my Housewives Tarot, because I don't like the guidebook that the Housewives Tarot came with. And this and the Housewives Tarot are like a match made in heaven.
Nice. So for me, this was one of them that I have not read the whole thing. I kind of got onto a different, well, I read the Book of Thoth, probably, you know, by Aleister Crowley, probably about 80%. And then I'm like, you know, and also I started reading it on Kindle. So I'm always struggling when it's on Kindle because I like to be able to easily go back, and on Kindle you cannot easily go back, or I just don't know how to use it properly. So I decided to read this one, and other people had suggested this one. So I'm about 80% through this one as well. But, you know, because Thoth was one of them that I do want to learn, and I still want to learn. But Thoth is so in depth that I really, really want to take my time, and I've got so many other things going on. So I'm pushing it to the back burner. But this was something that I really started off the year with, was this one and the Book of Thoth. Bye, Candy. Thank you for coming, sweetie.
Yeah. Another one, and I think this could be its entire category, is probably guidebooks. One that I bought this year was also the Cosmic Tarot, and I bought the guidebook, which is nice and big, and it gives a lot of details about the cards. And this year, I also bought a few other decks, like the Golden Dawn tarot decks, also with large guidebooks, and the Robin Wood, because I saw there was a guidebook of the same size that was sold. And so I like really getting into the headspace of the creator, like what were they thinking? Why did they put certain images on the cards? What do they see in it? And can I see the same, or do I have a different association with that? And so, yeah, probably like guidebooks, that would be like an entire thing. So I have this one as a representation.
Nice. Guidebook for me would be probably the Bone Stone and Earth Flesh. But something that I wanted to talk about, I did in the first 2 years that I was learning about tarot, I did so much reading about tarot. 2020 was not a huge year for reading about tarot for me. It just wasn't. It was about reading other things. But I did use this particular book tons in 2020 because I was constantly trying to think of what else can I do a reading on? What else can I do a reading on? And there is some excellent spreads in this. One of them that really stuck out was like a Lovecraft. At the same time that I was watching Lovecraft Country on HBO, and it was a Lovecraft spread. It's just excellent. It was so deep, and it's about like reality. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all over that, right? So that's, during the time that I was, bedridden for a while, and I would read it, and then I would send it over to Courtney, and then she'd do the readings. So we were both of us were really enjoying this book a lot.
Yeah.
So like, just give Mom a little bit, baby. Okay, come on.
Wasn't the Samhain spread also in that book for Halloween?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that one. Unfortunately, I didn't write down my cards, but I still remember some of it. And what's interesting, like the Samhain spread that I did, for a certain month, the card that came up there, and the same month in my year ahead reading was exactly the same. I love it. I love that spread. So another book that I got at the beginning of the year, and I've only read the introduction, I haven't gotten really far, but it has like a card from the Lurlich Tarot, so I just had to get it. And what I love about this deck is that this talks about tarot in the psychology way, like how to use tarot for self-discovery, how to get rid of all like the future prediction stuff and everything. This is really just the book. If anyone asks you, why do you read tarot? That's a bunch of nonsense. If you want to explain the tarot in a non-spiritual way, this would be the book.
Awesome. See you later, Angie. She says, well, I'm off to caulk the bathtub. Oh, the job of a woman is never done. Am I right? Okay, Bubby. All right. So for me, get down, Bubba. Come on. So for me, I do have a couple other books that I did want to talk about. Because astrology was a huge year for me, these were two other books. But how are they related to tarot? I look at tarot and astrology very, very closely. They can be used simultaneously, right? So I like having astrology. I try to add astrology in my readings now. So that's why I'm adding these here. These were both important books for my learning process.
Which is really helpful because we do have a lot of associations in the tarot cards with like astrology, and we even have decks where the symbols are. And so, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm out of books. I don't have any books anymore.
Oh, well, the last book that I wanted to mention is The Art of Cosmic Creation.
Ah, yeah, I have that one too. Okay, put mine in there as well.
Yeah. This is not necessarily tarot, but I look at all this as the same thing. It's all about self, knowing thyself, and, learning like what kind of lessons and bigger picture kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I look at this like this is bigger picture, definitely. Knowing thyself and learning how to work through this kind of stuff to get the life that you desire, more or less. Yep. And of course, Amber, the one who wrote this or channeled this, is in here. So had to represent. Yeah. So those are my books. So not the last one. The next one is The Card That Stalked You in 2020.
Huh. I don't really have a stalker card for 2020. I didn't really pay attention to that. Plus, in the first half of the year, I didn't really do any readings because I was just, spending all my time at work. And so I didn't really find any energy to read. But the card that is stalking me for 21 is the Five of Cups, Pentacles. The one like almost dreaded card that no one wants to get, especially not in a year ahead reading. And since I'm doing 1 month at a time, always using the full deck. I've had this come up like in January, February, April, and I think October. So at least 4 months, or maybe there was even a fifth one. So like almost half the year, I have the Five of Pentacles somewhere. So there is apparently a major lesson that I need to learn this year, and I have to figure out which one it is. So I guess I'm the person outside of the church. I see that there's light inside, but I just can't find the door to walk in the damn building.
This has been my stalker card this year. The Ten of Wands. Specifically in this particular deck. And I have always been, it was actually this card, this mixed with archetype readings that I did when I was doing my major shadow work, that I believe that I was born, or from a very young girl, I have a savior complex. Because I was always the kid that was beating up the bullies. I was the kid that was always trying to speak for my friends or help my friends, or, befriend other people. I always went for the underdog to try to help other people. But the problem with that is, and I do feel like, even emotionally, like for instance, when I was bedridden, I went to the doctor. Of course, they checked my levels of uric acid in my bloodstream. It was normal, but I still had gout. I knew it was because it had to do with emotional stuff, because I had gout in my foot. They took an x-ray and they could see that it was gout that was in my foot, but my blood levels were okay. So the only other thing that it made me realize was that my emotional state also causes alchemical reactions in my body.
Yeah.
And so when somebody tells me something, this is tarot of the she. When somebody tells me something, I hold on to it for like ever. That emotional stuff. I'm very empathic. And so this card has always kind of weighed heavy on me, feeling like when somebody tells me something, that it is then my problem. It is my responsibility to do something about it. And it's always been that way. So coming out of this energy has been a huge lesson for me this year. Not having to take the world, on my shoulders. Everyone's problems are not my problems. And I don't have to also be that person that tells somebody, listen, this is what you need to do, or listen, that's what you need to do. Because sometimes they're not asking me. I had to learn to get out of my own ego and say, listen, it's not my problem, and learn boundaries for myself. So
not my circus, not my monkeys.
What's that?
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Right.
Hi, Amy.
I've always been that way. Hi, sweetie. I've always been that way. So Courtney says, mine was Death, Tower, and Seven of Swords all year. I kept getting. Oh my gosh. Wow. Those are some tough cards, especially all three of them to get those, right?
Yeah.
Major year of transformation. Yeah.
But I have to say, I finally made peace with the last card that I was always on the fence with. And now that I see Amy here, it was the Three of Swords. Like, I never really knew how to get something positive until she did her video about the gratitude. And she pulled the Three of Swords. And all of a sudden, I heard, be grateful that you feel those feels at all. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually true. I mean, if I didn't feel them, then I couldn't experience all the ups and downs and everything that make up the human experience. I mean, isn't that why we're here, to have the human experience? And so now, I finally made peace with that card, and I'm not afraid of it anymore. Like always when it came up in a reading, I was like, no, I don't want that card. But now it's like, okay, I need to go through the feels.
See, that's one of the things I was saying this earlier with somebody. For me, I used to hate watching the Nicholas Sparks movies or reading the books because they were always so bittersweet, right? But isn't that what real love is about? Real love is the kind that is suffocating sometimes. It's the kind that hurts, but it's also the kind that can lift you up. It's all bittersweet, but you can't appreciate the highs without the lows. So that's life, right? Exactly. The human experience. It's a beautiful thing. So now I love those. It's like, oh, it's like deep. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So the next one was, what deck did you finally cross off of your wish list in 2020?
I think for me, that would be this one. Because I wanted to get the English version, and now this is like the way that the creator wanted this, and it's not like how the publisher told them to do this. And so, yeah, to finally have this, and now I have it in 4 different languages. I got the original German, I got the big ones in English, I have the small Spanish, and the gilded Czech version. So yeah. So I'm glad that I got this, and I only found out about it because I'm subscribed to the newsletter of the artist, and so I also got the early bird special, and yeah, that was really great.
Nice. So mine, I had to think about this. This definitely had to be the number one for me, the Bonestone and Tarot, or Bonestone and Earthflush. Although I was not one of the original people that had purchased it. I was waiting and waiting, and I had been waiting for a couple of years wanting this deck, wanting it, and was just hoping to God that some people were gonna get, and this is terrible, and I'm sorry if I don't mean to offend anybody, but I was hoping that some people would get tired of waiting so that I could jump on and get it, because this was one that I wanted really bad. And it had been for a couple of years. So I was watching her newsletter and everything religiously. I was always like every day making sure. And I was one of the first people, I think, to actually like pounce on it when it came available. So it's been a couple of years that I've been waiting for it. Yeah.
I can add another one to my list. It's not released yet. It will come out in March, but it's the Supernatural Tarot. I've been waiting for someone to create it. I mean, I know there is a deck on Etsy that is like fan art and stuff, or like a fan created it, but I didn't really like that one. And so even though I've only seen like 5 cards, and I don't know if it's a pip deck or if it's illustrated, but I didn't want this to be sold out before I got a chance, because it's not that expensive compared to other decks. So yeah, I pre-ordered it, and in March I will finally have a Supernatural Tarot.
I'm probably
so I can work with Sam and Dean.
I'm probably going to have to pre-order it, because all of you guys in the group have gotten me where I had to start watching it, because I watched it back in the day up till about like where I'm at right now. But I have been now binging it, and I've even been dreaming about the boys. And I'm not huge.
I'm so jealous of that. I'm so jealous.
Well, when you fall asleep watching it, it's bound to happen, right? And I fall asleep almost every single night watching Supernatural, because that's when I watch it, is like right before bed. That's the best time to watch. But yes, I'm probably going to have to get it. I'm not huge on the colors. I don't like the colors of it too much.
Yeah, that is something that I'm going to have to get used to. But I like the art style, because it fits with the animated series that they did about it. So at least there is like some like it fits together. I can't think of the word now. But yeah, I think I'm gonna like it. I hope it's illustrated. I hope it's not a pip deck, and I hope that they really, unlike the Game of Thrones deck, that they were able to get all the characters in there, that all the angels and the demons and everyone that we've encountered over the time of 15 seasons, that they're in there, and not just like up to season 7 or something. So yeah.
So I'm probably going to have to order it, definitely. And is everyone else having a bad connection? Are we coming in and out, guys?
Is it the sound or the image? Because the image looks okay on my YouTube.
It looks fine. Oh, on your YouTube, I don't know. I'm only on StreamYard.
Yeah, I'm checking on YouTube, but everything looks fine. I'm not going to turn on the sound now. So.
So what, the last one, the most worked with tarot deck in 2020, and why? So I already know that you have a few there, right?
Well, since I didn't really work with anything the first half of the year, that doesn't really count. Like my year kind of begins in August, or yeah, July, August. And so for me, it would be the haunted house. Like this deck is the one that I use in all my life readings. It's the one that I use for myself a lot of times. And this, I've been really using it up and down, like almost every other day. And yeah, like I had this just on my table, like always next to me. So every day I could just grab it, because that's one thing for me. If I put them away out of reach, I'm not going to work with them, and I'm just not going to do anything. But once I have them, it's like so easy to just reach over and just, ask any kind of question, or just shuffle the cards, see what comes out, and just work with it. And so I did that with this deck, and yeah, it's been a constant companion. And I've been really working with it because I'm also taking notes on my deck. Like this is something that I finally got over, like actually writing on the deck and like putting something on here. And what I'm doing is, like, whenever I hear someone say something interesting about a card and I'm like, oh, that's a nice way of looking at it, I write it down. Just the other day, I don't know, I think it was something that Bossetti said in one of her live readings about a certain card. And then I looked at the card and I just wrote it down on the card. So this is like a deck, journal, everything in one.
Amy says, I'm not doing any deck prompt because, I work with the same decks all the time. Honestly, I kind of do too. I mean, this is my trusty go-to always, either this one or upstairs. I have the indie version. I love these. I try to say I'm not going to use it. I can't. It's like one of them that I just can't stop. It's like my addiction or something, right? That one and this one, since I got it, I'm like using it all the time, because I think not only is the artwork just absolutely stunning, but the book is so friggin' amazing. And the prompts that she has in here. But I feel the same way about this one. They're both completely different kinds, but together they're just like the perfect duo for me. And then, tons of different Oracle decks that I use. But yeah, so that was that for me.
Yeah, and I think for this year, one that I'm going to work with a lot is the Ludi Lescott. Now I have the Italian version. So the original box, only it was black and it had like the pink or purple ankh on it. But yeah, I just got this out of my from my tower shelf because I haven't used it yet. And the first reading, instead of doing a deck interview, I asked, or I usually ask the deck, tell me something about myself, like do a reading on me. And this deck gets me. And I'm going to do a lot of shadow work with this deck this year.
Excellent. I still have some decks that I have coming from Kickstarter whenever they get here. One is the Compendium of Witches. One is the Astrological Oracle. It's like 108 cards, all about astrology, the different astrological houses and stuff. And I have, the Cosmo Tarot. Is that it? Cosmic Visions Tarot. It's something like that. I have that one coming. I'm very excited about that. That one's going to be coming like really soon. And I got most of these decks like months and months ago. They're just now starting to fulfill. And through like January and February, everything's been slowed down. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with those. But still my trusty ones. This one up too, of course. I love Tarot of the She. But there you go. So we're going to be back here next week, same day next week, same time next week, right?
Wasn't it an hour earlier?
Is it? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Next week it's an hour earlier.
Yeah. Yes. And we're going to be discussing probably 8 through, let's see, probably like 14, do you think? 8 through 14? Or 8 through
Probably,
15?
yeah.
Yeah.
We can do 15 and then have the rest of the 15 for the next 2 videos.
And I think we might have a couple other people joining us next week too. So we'll see. We hope so. So thank you everybody for joining us. Maria, love this, of course.
This is fun. Yeah.
Everything is better with somebody else. I don't want to come on here and do these things myself. They're boring.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for joining us. And we hope you have a
Thank
wonderful
you. See you next week.
day. Bye guys.
Bye.